2022. Was it that Pfizer hadn't yet sent the doses to FDA to kind of get FDA's stamp of approval, or was it that FDA was still working on giving the stamp of approval to make the doses releasable?
Okay, so there is a standardized cadence of approval for vaccines when they go from the completion of fill finish to releasable. Where I failed, nobody else failed, is to have a clear understanding of that cadence. So when I applied it into our forecast methodology and our planning with the states, I realized that there was a delta to the numbers that I personally thought were available and ready for distribution and what was releasable. I can't say it any better than that. It was my fault. I gave guidance. I am the one that approved the forecast sheets. I am the one that approved the allocations, right? There is no problem with the process. There is no problem with the Pfizer vaccine. There is no problem with the Moderna vaccine, right? It was a planning error, and I am responsible. And I don't really know how to say it any clearer than that. We're learning from it. We're trying to get better because at the end of the day, it is about facilitating the most available vaccine doses out that are releasable out to the American people.
Operator, next question.
Thank you. The next question is from Karen Stacy. Your line is open.
Hi, this is Karen Stacy from the Financial Times. Could you just explain a little bit about what your error was, particularly there? Is it that you didn't realize that this extra approval process had to happen to make these doses releasable, or you just thought it would take less time to do?
A combination of everything, right? No, this has never been done, right, in our history. Normal vaccines, right? Let's just take influenza as an example, right? The country gives their orders to industry. Industry spends the next 6 months developing and producing and proving that vaccine for distribution, and then it's distributed in a timely manner. What we've done is to take the process that is well regulated and standards highly enforced, and we've converted it into execution for a COVID-19 vaccine, which is, as the vaccine is developed, we are pushing it out to the American people. A simple course of action, but a totally, in my opinion, inappropriate and unethical decision would have been to stockpile COVID-19 vaccine, walk through all the process that is normal, right? Wait for it to all be approved and releasable, and then distribute it 3-4 months from now. So the mistake I made is not understanding with exactness, again, my responsibility, on all the steps that have to occur to make sure the vaccine is releasable. At the end of the day, here's what I think about. Will my mother have a safe and effective vaccine, right? Will the American people have a safe and effective vaccine? I failed. I am adjusting. I am fixing, and we will move forward from there. Over.
Operator, next question.
The next question comes from Meg Terrell from CNBC. Your line is open.
Hi. I'm wondering if Operation Warp Speed has projections, as more vaccine supply becomes available over the weeks. Is there, a limit at any point that you've been told just from all the communications with the states as to how many vaccinations can be performed in this country per week? At any point, you kind of have to say, well, we've got more supply than we can actually ship because we just can't perform more vaccinations. What is that limit per week?
Yeah, so we're not there yet, and my sense, based on on what we project we're going to receive over the next few months, we're not going to reach that limit. I think the key is access to the vaccine to the most places throughout America. We are calling them providers, And we have over 50,000 providers that are enrolled across the country. Visualize them from everywhere from hospitals, doctors' offices, pharmacies, pharmacy chains, etc. And we think that that quantity and the distribution of the vaccine will provide everybody in America the access to the vaccine when the supply is available. So I don't see us reaching a point where we'll be constrained, where supply will overrun capability and capacity to administer, but we'll manage and we'll work that as we go forward.
Operator, next question.
Next question is from Jill Colden from the AP. Your line is open.
Thank you so much for doing this call. I just don't want to hammer this point, but I was just hoping that you can explain in very simple layman's terms that anyone can understand exactly what needs to happen to make doses releasable. And also, I think you made a reference there to second dose availability. Did that play any role in this process?
So I'll answer the latter, and yes, second dose availability is key for us. The strategy is that we release first doses when we have second doses on hand, and we have confidence that the releasable doses will meet that requirement. I am not going to spend any more time talking about the details in between, fill finish and releasable. Thank you.
Operator, next question.
The next question is from Eric Coolish. Please state your media outlet. Your line is open.
Yes, thank you. Eric Coolish, FreightWaves. Wondering if you've had any more temperature excursions like the 4 trays that you talked about earlier in the week, and if you've analyzed and found out what happened with those, and why is going to 80 or 90 degrees even colder a problem?
So no, we've had no more than what I've talked to you about, and we've run the checks. Pfizer has run the checks and collaborated with the FDA, and going down below -80 to these excursions were -92 have no effect on the vaccine. But they wanted to make sure, and they wanted to make sure not only the vaccine remained safe, but also the vial containing the vaccine, the seal, etc., was still appropriate. That's been approved, and there's no issues with that. The vaccine, as they're theorizing, and we're not there yet because we don't have enough situations to really truly validate. But as the vaccine travels right in the air, etc., the dry ice shifts, etc., the temperature fluctuates into a colder temperature. Poor choice of words. Apologize. And hence the -92. The key of this is the diligence and the professionalism and the immediacy which Pfizer reacted in combination with FedEx and UPS. Remarkable ability to see themselves, right? Take control, quarantine, return, and replace the vaccine was just spectacular. And I applaud everybody involved in that.
Operator, we have time for one last question.
The last question comes from Sarah Murray from CNN. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you very much for doing the call. So given the way the cadence has gone so far with the Pfizer vaccine, I'm just curious what gives you guys the confidence that you'll be able to reach the dose goal you set for yourself for the end of the year.
So I think, we've done a lot of work, right? A lot of planning on this, a lot of collaboration from the CDC experts through commercial industry, both the manufacturers and those that are distributing as well as working with the states on final administration. As I said earlier, it is a plan. It is a plan that we've rehearsed many times. But at the end of the day, it's when things go into action that we figure out if there's something not right. Based on everything I know right now, I feel confident that we'll have the allocations of 20 million by the end of the month, and that we will be literally finishing distribution of that 20 million inside the first week of January. Now,
All right, operator, that's all the time we have today. Please send any follow-up questions to our press office at media@hhs.gov.